been very good to us in this year, 2014. Amidst everything going on in our community, I can still say that God still has me in my right mind and I'm still at peace with Him. You know, God has been so good to me this year, but I'm able to think about a scripture that He wants to do exceedingly and abundantly above anything that I can ask or think according to Him. And so my motto is I'm never going to be satisfied with where I am right now. I'm going to go into 2015 and ask God, what next? Because right now all I have is potential. And a lot of times we celebrate potential as though that's a promise. Potential is only good, but what's the life like? What's the lifeline of potential? How long will potential last in order for you to be celebrated for? If I die and I go to the grave with potential, people would turn their cheek against me and say, well, he had potential, but he never amounted to nothing. See, potential, we're being celebrated for it too much and too long. I need to start manifesting some things that God has promised me, and I need to start getting to work. One of the first things He said to man was to be fruitful and multiply. Not the potential to be fruitful and multiply. He said, be fruitful and multiply. We're only celebrating potential, and I can't stand for it to no longer happen in 2015. I'm going to do the things that God told me to do, and I'm not going to attach myself to anything that God did not ordain for my life to attach itself to. I remember going back to a story in high school, and you know, every practice after basketball practice, we were lower to goal. And once we lowered the goal, all the kids from the school would come and dunk on that lower goal. They would dunk, boom, boom, boom. Until the time it came time to lower the goal back to 10 feet. But what do you think happened when the goal was high, when the goal was raised? Nobody could dunk. But when it was lowered, everybody was celebrating what they can do on a lower potential, on a lower goal. And I think that's what's going on. People are not in your life and they're not pushing you past where you are. And I think that you're celebrated for mediocrity. But in 2015, I declare to you, and I dare you, to not be celebrated for mediocrity, to take your achievements, to take your mindset, to take your finances, to take your relationships to the next level. Because some of us are only blessed off of potential. Imagine what God has for us if we take that potential and start doing the things that God told us to do this year, next year. See, a lot of us are lacklusting and we're not doing things that God told us to do, and we're just entertaining. And a lot of people are getting celebrated out of entertaining, but there's no promise in their entertaining. I want the promises of God today. And I want next year to be my year of overflow, to be the year that God blesses me abundantly. And I want this year that I achieve my maximum potential. No more lackluster performance, no more lower potential. Have a good day.